Ani, Nanabojo, hello, greetings. Bonik Dijnikash, my name is Veronica King-Jamieson, Anishinaabe Kwe, Chi Nibi, Mississauga and Digibam, Mississaugas of the Credit, people of the Great Lakes is where I'm from. Mukwa Dodum Bear Clan on my mom's side and Megazi Dodum Eagle Clan on my dad's side, Ndao. My name is Veronica King-Jamieson. I come from a large family. My mom and dad had 17 children, and today there is 7 survivors in my immediate family. There's about 90 of us, last count. I'm currently Gima, which means leader. I hold one of the elected councillor positions since December 2015 and starting my 7th year. I've worked in our community for over 35 plus years, wearing many hats, and is well known to be one of those mover and shakers. The Mississaugas of the Credit currently have over 2,500 members. Our territory stretches across southern Ontario from Niagara Falls to the other side of Toronto. I do want to add that the Mississaugas of the Credit belongs to a bigger Mississauga nation, which consists of 6 First Nation communities: Alderville, Curve Lake, Mississauga up by Blind River up north, Mississaugas of Rice Lake, Hiawatha, Mississaugas of Scugog Island, and the Mississaugas of Credit. It takes about 7 to 8 hours to travel across Ontario on the Mississauga Nation, and we are the largest in Ontario with the estimated registered members of about 9,500, probably more after the COVID-19 era. So back to the Mississaugas of the Credit, and it was mentioned I am the lead councillor for Pillar 4 Education Awareness. Currently, council has 7 pillars within our council strategic plan. I am consistently looking through 3 lenses: the community, government to government, and nation to nation. I have a strong passion in our education for our community. I look at these 3 lenses as our past, our present, and future. I recognize our ancestors and prior Gima, which means leaders before me, for paving the path for a better, healthier community, especially in our education governance. Returning to our tradition doesn't mean returning to the past. It means reconnecting to the wisdom of our ancestors and bringing it forward with us. In the present, I want to honor our community, staff, council, external organizations, and various education institutions across Ontario. We honor our future generation with Chi, which means bigger opportunities. Our community has been active with education governance since we were put here on Mother Earth. By adapting to their environment, ways of knowing while dealing with, and still today, traumatic events that were imposed on us. Going forward, and recently in the last 40 years, education is one of the high priorities in taking more control of our education, as identified by the community to meet their needs. This was evidenced when we launched a special education funding court case and won to an extent. We recently reopened this case with our lawyer, Ken Elson, but also want to mention the advocacy champion, Dr. Cindy Blackstock, for her support. Council hosts ongoing strategic planning sessions with community, and we create these reports on what we heard for the pillars. And these 2 next priority actions for education was 1, to create an education board. 2, to create a Mississauga curriculum, lesson plans about our history, identity, culture, language, customs, and more. We created this, I don't have the right words yet, but I will explain. I will use this word as a placeholder until we have a proper word in our language, an education board, which involves our youth, parents, and members, elders, knowledge keepers, our education staff, council lead pillar 4. So once we did that, we created our terms of reference on how we will conduct ourselves, which include the 7 grandfather teaching and so much more. I do want to say that, as mentioned, that the board recently received training through the FNEAA and miigwech to the team for that. And we are still continuing that training. Some of the board members are on the call here today. I seen Carly and I seen Cindy, and I want to say miigwech for being here. The board isn't looked at as being administrative nor political, but more in an advocacy role. Everything we do, we focus on our members before birth and after death. It is a continuous lifelong learning, education, teaching. We follow our members before they are born, members receiving educational guidelines for prenatal, after birth, into the programs, services, healthy babies, healthy children. Then comes daycare, elementary, high school, college, university, adult education, elder teaching. It's a continuous circle while building in capacity and the governance and advocacy roles. We look at how we can enhance what we already know. And with this, I call it development and growing pains and more solutions. The second priority action is more exciting and fun as we have constant dialogue with our communities on the curriculum development and language planning. Lots of moving pieces in this section. As we strengthened our relationship and support from the Mississauga Nation with collaboration with our elders, our knowledge keeper, teachers, the education working groups, we are revitalizing our memories, our stories, our teachings, our way of life, and today's modern way of living, the technology and preserving for our future. To carry the Indigenous knowledge to the next generation, not only in a traditional verbal story telling, but with collaboration, with potential partnership in today's modern mainstream society. To share the knowledge through advanced technology and video sharing, or documents in a toolkit, guidebook, and creating lessons plans for the education institution systems in English and in our Ojibwe dialects. The Mississaugas of the Credit currently do not have the capacity and resources in our community to meet our educational needs, but we are having those exploratory table discussions now. We have been successful in securing dollars to open an early on facility in one of the surrounding municipality in Haldeman. The Early On Child and Family Center in Hagersville is led by the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. We're providing quality programs and services that offer support to our local parents and our caregivers. We currently finished a playground equipment that strives to foster Indigenous identity and serves as an expression of Anishinaabe culture. We created a medicine wheel garden, a series of canoe sculptures to recall the traditional modes of transportation. We have fire pits and we do much more. We are currently managing a $10 million LSK expansion elementary in addition to the agreements that were discussed. But for us, it means our children can come home to learn. If they live in one of the surrounding towns or city, they're able to come home. LSK was named after one of our education champions, Mr. Lloyd Sherman King, who has since passed. Plus his late son, Mr. Max, was the principal for a period, and Max's late son, Mr. Carl King, held a crucial role as our culture coordinator for over 20 years at LSK. We are constantly trying to think outside of the box and do not limit yourself to be creative. I love having brainstorming sessions and bouncing ideas because those crazy one-off moment triggers a thought and we say, why not? With certain conditions and solution, it can be done. So my motto is just do it. That's a part of our governance structure. We create educational toolkits and mail them out across the education institution across Ontario, asking them to make space for us within our territory. The Mississaugas of the Credit has about over 50 plus cities in our territory. I love the networking and there's so many more success stories. To name a few, with the UTM, Massey College, Sheridan, Western University, Peel, McMaster, Wilfrid Laurier, Conestoga College, and various elementary and high schools. I just want to elaborate a bit with the partnership with UTM, which they have 3 campuses in our territory. Dr. Sherry reached out to Chief and Council to be involved, especially with the Mississauga campus. During this time, there was a media coverage about Doug Ford government canceling the Indigenous curriculum in the Ontario classroom, but that didn't stop us. We still did the collaboration with UTM, and so the Mississaugas of the Credit planned and hosted an education symposium. We invited guest speakers from the TRC, Senator Murray St. Clair, and our own member, Honorable Justice Harry Laforme, in December of 2018. And you can find those on the website if you want to Google them and review them. And we wanted to know what their vision was from the RCAP, which some of the information was transferred over to the TRC report. And we wanted to know if we were on the right path and what can we do. The conference was well attended and it was reached over 500 plus participants across Canada. I view the UTM Mississauga campus as an Indigenous hub. It is a place where Indigenous learners can see themselves. We create an Indigenous action group where we participate in the delivery of programs across UTM. Our elders, knowledge keeper, counselors, chief, staff, education board, and myself are involved in those. They had a building constructed. We held a sunrise ceremony to name the building in our language, and they created office space for the Mississaugas of the Credit. And it has our beautiful art mural work on there. The partnerships and ongoing collaboration is to heighten the Indigenous education within the Ontario classroom about who we are and our true accuracy about our history, our ways of knowing. If you are interested in one of these current projects called Moccasin Identifier, it's founded by the Mississaugas of the Credit member, Carolyn King. You can contact us on that one. The same with Massey College. They made GEMA Chief Stacy honor member, and they provide Mississaugas of the Credit with a 2-bedroom suite for Mississauga. We attend meetings and attend their special high chair events. We currently created an Indigenous Culture Scholarship for $15,000, and the name of our member, Dr. Malcolm King, who is also part of the prior family I spoke of. I need to mention that the Mississaugas of the Credit became involved with the First Nation with School Collective, which you will hear more later on with the guest speaker, Leslie White-Eye, that currently is a tremendous resource and an advocacy for education. I am honored to be a part of this education governance support. In closing remarks, it is about sharing a common vision and working towards common goals and to speak with a unified voice. As a nation, we have shared history, strong family connections, and more are joining to rejuvenate the past and work towards our future. And the important key point is to fully engage members with meaningful consultation about their lives. If our members know the vision where our chief and council will be in 5, 10, 15, 50 years from now, it is easy to promote education opportunities to be part of that overall strategic plan across the communities. Leaving you with this last thought, what can you do? Be the role models you deserve and we desperately need. I am thankful for these opportunities, experience, and support received while on my education journey. The first thing you should do in the morning and when you wake up, give thanks for another day to be with your family, friends, and all your relation. Chi miigwech, big thank you for listening. Kuwaban minwa bamapi. I will see you again later. Miigwech.